You guys ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? Well, let me tell you something. When I first went to Titusville High School in Titusville, Florida, I couldn't believe some of the people I met. And then I met some extraordinary people. But a lot of people, I was like, they didn't think that history was important. So I said to my father and my mom, I was like, you know, most people don't think history is important. What are we going to do about that, you know? Now me, on the other hand, before I even showed up to Titusville High School, I'm reading about college level history and the most influential people in history and all kinds of different versions of history. I mean, so I'm like, you remember the Monolith? You know? They're like, hey man, all these people, like from way back when, are like, dun, dun. We don't have talking computers, you know? Star Trek, talking computers. Now we got dun, 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 dun. History Channel, please. Whoa, you know? So, history, you know? They go, how do we make history important? Well, a minister once said to me, he said, what's in a name? I says, well, there's a lot in a name if you have a good family. That's history, you know? It says, you know, what do you mean what's in a name? There's a lot in a name if it's a good family. I says, well, it's like when you vote for the President of the United States, you know, got a prestige in the White House, you know, a sense of honor and nobility, you know, and you know how to make a good example for all the people to see all around the world, you know. And they go, what's in a family name? What's in a family name? What's in a name? You know, honor your mother and father, you know, what's in a name? I says, well, you know, you look at some of these Navy families, you look at some of these Army families, you look at some of these Air Force families, you look at some of these Marine families, you look at some of these National Guard families, some of these police families, the sheriff's families, the firefighter families, the EMT families. What's in a name? You know, what sense of honor and dignity have you brought to your family's name? You know, what's the history of your family? And if your family doesn't have a good history, how are you going to honor those family members, you know? To bring them into the light of truth and wisdom and have a better family name. What's in a name? What's in your family name? You know? People talk about money, they talk about wealth. Well, what brings wealth? What's in a name? And then when you build from there, you know? It's like building towns into cities and cities into countries and countries into, you know, examples for all the different cultures of the world. To find a way to better communicate, you know? What's in a family name? So, parental guidance. What's in your family name? What are you teaching your children while they're watching the history of the world, both past, future, and present?